Hello, my name is Holly from my Daily Homecrafts. I almost said the wrong word, the wrong name again. I've changed it a while back because I think this represents more what I do on a daily and weekly basis than because I no longer just stitch full coverage HAEDs. Anyway, my name is Holly. I'm living in northern Northumberland. In northern England, lots of northerns there. I'm about 15-20 minutes from the Scottish border near the coast of North Sea, and it's a glorious day. Today is April, let me get my reading glasses. Today is April 20th 2026. It's a Monday. Now I recorded a video for you about 6 weeks ago, and unfortunately I never got it posted, and it's now so late, and the video itself was quite disjointed because I kept getting messages and having to answer the door and phone calls and stuff, and it took me all day long, and by the time I finished recording it was late at night and the lighting was absolutely dreadful. So I instead of just trying to patch together something really bad, I'm going to try to do something a lot better today. And you're going to be getting some things that were in the old video, but I've accomplished a lot since then. So with the cross stitches, there's 2 cross stitches to show you today. Excuse me, I had a little bit of soda before I came on and it's giving me the bubbles. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody that comes back and listens to me prattle on, and y'all are just super awesome. So let's get on with it. First and foremost, I have a knitted finished object, and it is these socks. They're in West Yorkshire Spinners Swallowtail series. Now, they're ever so pretty, but it's been a while since I used West Yorkshire Spinners, and unfortunately these are just a little bit too snug for me. So even though they are my size, there's just a little, the yarn just doesn't have enough bounce to it, and I was getting more accustomed to it, so I was holding on to it, so it got a bit snug. And if I'm in the past, I've had West Yorkshire Spinners yarn shrink on me a little bit, so I thought I'd rather give it to somebody who fit a lot better. So these are going to my daughter-in-law, whose favorite color is yellow and grey, and this is blues, but it looks kind of grey, doesn't it? So these will be going to her. They should have been with her, but when she visited, she forgot them. So she doesn't really need them in the summertime in Dubai. So and although they do keep the house, my son keeps their house quite cool, so she still wears her homemade socks, but those are really snug, so I'm sure she'll use them more when they come in the winter time, or when they come at Christmas again, or when it's a lot cooler there at their in Dubai. Sorry, my nose is tickling. All right, the first thing I've got to say to talk about is I have been working on my cross stitch again. And I've been, in the last week, I've stitched almost every day on both cross stitches. So the first cross stitch I'm talking about is Christmas Scene, Santa and Animals, artwork by Dona Gelsinger, charted by Charting Creations. It's being stitched on 22 count hardanger, 1/1 full cross. And what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about, I stitch in hand usually, and what I usually do, well nowadays, because this is a wad of fabric, I'm just putting rubber band on it to keep this all out, because I had those clips, and the clips kept coming off because this is a wad of a big thick chunk of fabric. But anyway, I have, since I last saw you, the last time you saw this, it was at 16.70%, and it's 187,000 stitches. Roughly, I think it's 187,000, it might be 187,500, but it's around 187,000 stitches. The last time y'all actually saw this was at 16.70%. When I recorded last, it was at 17.45, but now I've got it up as of last night. It's now at 18.18%, and there we go. I was actually able to, night before last, I went back up to the start of the column, and I'm starting to get the purples and the lavenders and stuff from the Christmas tree. I'll show you a picture of where of what it looks like now. I keep looking at my phone, which is showing what it's recording, but not on the little camera, because the camera screen is teeny tiny. I can't see it. So the camera isn't there, but I keep looking at the screen because that's what I'm used to seeing. But anyway, it's lots of blues. What I've decided to do is when I finally get to the other side, which will be quite a long time, since I'm only 18%, and I've been doing this now as of March 24th. It's been 3 years, so I think it's March 24th. I started this with Lindsay Bridges on Instagram. And hers is absolutely stunning. It's over 40% now, and she works she kind of grows out that way, so it's not like rigid columns like mine are usually quite rigid columns. Hers is kind of scattered across, so you see she's gone more into the sky. So and she's already started on the tree, which is fantastic. Fan-dabba-dozy, as my husband says. But anyway, this is what it's looking like now. Like I said, I've still got a long way to go as how far it will take me, but I'm super excited to have this done now, and I've been just enthusiastically working. Last night I only got 70 stitches on it, but the night before I got 370 something, so awesome stuff. Secondly, I was working on mini Serenity Lane artwork, I think by Dona Gelsinger. I think I'll have to look on. All the information about stuff will be below in the description box. When you last saw it, it was 11.18%, unless it's your first time here. Hi. But the last time you saw it was at 11.18%. When I last recorded, it was at 12.84%, and now it's at 14.06. And I'm upside down. And this is a crinkly fabric, but nice. It's a lovely stiff fabric. And I'm now stitching this. Oh, goodness, there we go. I've just got the barest bottom, probably another 100 or so stitches there to finish, and I'll have that column finished. I don't know why this is so crooked. Or maybe it's just me. I'm lopsided. But I almost waited, but tomorrow my husband's will be at home during the day, most of the day, so I wanted to get this done and recorded and have yeah, it's been so long since I've actually seen y'all. But this was I started off with 2/2 full cross, and then I went over to 1/1 2/1 full cross, and then went over to 1/1 full cross, and that was still super thick. This is like a carpet. And what I've gone into since the last column is I've started doing 2/1 half cross, because it's still quite thick. It's still very, very thick, but I don't think the 1/1 full cross. Then I went 1/1 half cross, and that was not enough coverage. So it's gone from 2/1 full cross, then 1/1 full cross, then 1/1 half cross, and now it's over 2/1 half cross. So, but I don't think, unless you're up Oops, there we go. Unless you're up over with a microscope or magnifying glass, I don't think you can tell. Maybe later on you'll be able to tell. And if I need to, I will. I'll go back and fill in some areas, but honestly, I don't think it will. So it's had all 4 different ways of stitching on it, and I'm really learning. It's for years. Yeah, I've been stitching full coverages. That was done in 2018, so that's my first one, and I've been cross stitching since I was 13, which is 13. I'm now 59, so quite a few years. 46 years. So this is, of course, when you're doing it in a non-full coverage, it's just part of the pattern. But it always confused me trying to stitch. And there's a few times I've stitched in the wrong hole, because normally I start on the bottom left hole and go up and then come back down. Anyway, everybody starts in a different hole when they're stitching, and now I'm having to learn to go either to top right or bottom left. That's it. When I'm doing that, and sometimes I'm finding that if I usually stitch on this and get roughly 100 stitches before I go over to Santana Animals, because it's the biggest one. I need to put the biggest chunk of. It's been so long. I should never had something go on this long. I need to finish it. Anyway, Serenity Lane. I told you it's a 14.0%. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and this is 28 count, even weave. So this is. It's coming along. It's very beautiful. I'm very happy with it. I'm just throwing it on the floor beside us. Alright, now that is all the cross stitch. The rest of it will be about yarny crafts, mostly knitting and some crochet. The knitting is socks, and the crochet is the crochet is blankets. And then there's will be hopefully a quick live update afterwards. Alright, first and foremost, because I really wanted these socks for myself, so what I've done is I've taken the rest of the ball of yarn from the West Yorkshire Spinners Yellow Swallowtail yarn, and I'm starting off. I've gone even bigger, because with that pattern, with that batch, I made it up to 64 stitches. I've gone up to 68 stitches on this, hoping that even it's a sturdy yarn. It's not very bouncy though. So I'm hoping that this will actually come out and do really well. So I did that, and I was facing knitting the same sock all over again, just a little bit bigger or wider. And then I was thinking, well, I've got a lot of stuff going on. My daughter-in-law came a few weeks ago. She came for just a couple, 3 days, 2 nights, and with the baby. So I had to de-danger the house for the baby, because she's now standing up and she's crawling. She's a fast little crawler, and she's very interested in everything. So I had to raise everything up and get everything cleared out that was possibly a danger for her. So that took a few days beforehand. But anyway, I was thinking, well, they're going to be here, and then I've got relatives coming to stay with us for 8 days in just a few weeks. So I thought, well, I want socks. Whenever I'm knitting, if I've got the blankets, they're quite big. They're could be a bit too awkward to crochet on. So socks are easy. They're portable. We're going to be mostly I will be carting them all over Northumberland and Scottish borders. So I wanted something extra. So started off with those yellow socks, and then I decided I've got loads of socks, not loads, but I've got quite a few socks already wound into 2 different balls, so I've started these, and they're a sparkly one. There we go. I don't know if you can see the sparkle. But it's very pretty. The yarn looks so much different. It looks very, it's still beautiful. It's just different than you would expect it from it. And this is just a bag, I think, from Jillaroo or something on Etsy. If you're interested, I can try to find out where it came from. I mean, I bought that years ago, so I don't know how. But she might still have some fabrics. Then I started a DK weight pair of socks, a sock yarn, and all these socks at the moment, except for one pair, are for me because I've been repairing my socks for years, making socks for everybody else. I've made dozens of socks for other people in the last 2 years, 3 years. So it's time for me to make some for myself again. But anyway, these are DK socks. They're going really quickly. Beautiful colors. I love the colors of this. And that's, oops, in another bag I got off of eBay. Let me get these all untangled. I like it because I think this goes with that color-wise. All right, another set. Now this is, oops, I'm all tangled. These are the socks. This is the yarn from my husband's socks I finished in early January. And this looks totally different because I didn't have quite enough to make a pair of socks. I've just added in a purple toe to match the purple stripes of the yarn. And I've wound it up into balls instead of a cake. But anyway, these I just got into wanting to try to use up the socks. Not only use the socks up, the unused yarns that are already pre-wound, because I was watching a video, I saw something where if you haven't wound into cakes for too long, it can make the yarn do something, not squishy or whatever. Anyway, it's not good for the yarn to be wound into cake, especially if it's a tight cake. I don't know if mine are, I don't think mine are tight, but yeah, gives me a good excuse to start socks, right? So anyway, these are coming along, and yet again, like the yellow socks, I'm excited to do them, but I don't want to be doing the same. I just worked on these things. Recently. I had to run back because I just realized that I may not have shown you these finished. I was using the Yarn Artist Step into Christmas, and I made the pair of socks for someone for Christmas that I finished on late December, I think it was. And I had the yarn left over. Also, I had a phone call from my husband to tell me he'd found a couple of bits that I was looking for. One for the kitchen, one for a cane for my knee, because I've hurt my knee. So that was exciting. Anyway, I found these. I finished these. These are this is the leftover yarn from the socks I made. And they're both totally different because one's from one end and one's from the other end of the yarn. So they've come out totally different. They're a little bit big for me. I was following the sock table from Anna Knitter's sock table that she sells on Etsy, and it's quite good for just general sizes for people when I'm making things. But for myself, I need to shorten it just a centimeter or two because they're just a wee bit, just a teeny bit, a little bit too big for me. But that's another finish. So I've had two finishes since I last saw you. Let me put those down there. But I'd already put them because I'd already shown you in the video that I recorded but haven't published. Those are the ones that I showed you in the last video. But I've forgotten about them because I've been wearing them. Because I started wearing them after I after I recorded the last video. Anyway, I'm now, there's another DK pair of socks. This is leftover yarn from a pair of socks I did for Christmas, either this year or last year. I've got menfolk that I knit socks for at Christmas time, and this is the pair of socks for that. And the person that I'm knitting these for have a very small foot, so I've got just enough to do her a pair of socks, and she loves blue. Blue is her favorite color. This is absolutely stunning yarn. Those were DK. These are fingering weight 4-ply yarns, and I love this absolutely. And I was going to say, I've been talking about my my socks. I've been fixing, all my socks I have been having to mend. This is like the last. These I've just been mending and mending. I think these have been mended about 3 different times. So instead of mending it, I was just fed up and I didn't want to throw it away. So what I've done is I've cut the cuff off of the sock, and I've sewn it into I've sewn a little hole a little bit around there, and I'm using the old cuff as a sock cozy. As a sock it's a sock cozy, as a yarn cozy. So at least I'm getting, I love reusing things, and I was just thinking myself that I can probably cut that off here, because that big hole, I can sew that a little bit of that hole there, or maybe just double it down and use the foot part as a yarn cozy as well. Maybe, we'll see. But I saved those poor worn. This is the other side. It's just, you could just see where I've been mending and mending and mending, and get all kinds of holes. That's all mending there and there. I've mended there. So I just find it's getting to the point where it's just wearing through. If I could fix them, but I'd probably spend as much time just re-knitting the whole bottom of the sock to fix it. Might as well make another pair, right? So anyway, these are absolutely gorgeous. I love this color. Absolutely, reminds me kind of like a Aurora Borealis, or a winter's evening sky. Absolutely stunning. Now, that's the last of the socks. I got 3 more pairs that I want to cast on that I've already got wound up. One pair, one yarn is leftovers from the green and blue socks that I made for the teal and green socks that I made at Christmas. It's a very thin yarn, so I'm going to have to hold it double. And it's a very toothy, very rough, coarse yarn, but it should wear. And I'm hoping that I should have enough, because it was just a small pair of socks. I don't know if I'll hold it double with a white sock yarn or a gray sock yarn, or if I will just hold it double with itself. I think holding it's double with, I'll have to see. I'll weigh it and see which way I'll go. The other 2 are brand new yarns, not brand new, but they're wound, but they've never been used as gifts, so I'd like to go ahead and start using them. Now, the last 2 things I was going to show you is I've been working more on the crocheted blanket, the crocheted blankets. This is the corner to corner crocheted square blanket, and I think, if I remember correctly, I've put all of this row here, this row here, all the way down, and this on since I last saw you. Maybe even more than that. I didn't mark it, unfortunately. And when my daughter-in-law was here, she saw it, she fell in love with it, and she's like, "Oh, can you give it to the baby?" So this would probably be the baby's Christmas gift, this winter. But it's super snuggly, super snuggly. It is a bit of a weight, so I don't think I'll make it much bigger than this. Maybe a little bit longer and a little bit wider, but not massive, because I think it'd be too heavy for the baby. She'll be about 17 months old at Christmas, so I think it'd be a little bit too heavy for her. And the last craft I'll have to talk to you about is I've been working on the canal boat blanket by Attic 24, Lucy at Attic 24. and at this point in time, I'm following her color arrangement. Now, if I get down, I didn't test my gauge, and when I get closer to the top and I start running out of yarns, what I'll do is I'll start weighing the yarns. I know that anyway, let me show you this and then I'll explain what I'm talking about. This is nearly halfway. Can't see. Anyway, it's a gorgeous blanket. My husband loves it. He loves, at one point, yeah, he loves canal boats, and at one point we were considering buying one to live on it. That was impractical for us. But this row here, the little tiny triangles, that takes 3.9 grams of yarn, and this takes the most. This one, I think 5.9, almost 6 grams, I think. And these two are about 5 grams. So I will, when it gets closer to when the balls of yarn, because at the moment this is, I may have plenty, but I'll see when I get closer whether I can squeeze out a few more and just weigh the yarn as I go along and see what I've got left and see what would be more usable. But I love the color ranges of the Stylecraft and DK. It's very durable, yarn, and it's exciting. So I love this. This is because I love the quilting as well. I love the little scissors. Aren't they cute? Anyway, let's go on to life things. You last saw me in February. I didn't write it down. Ever so sorry. Anyway, on February 4th, I did write it down. So, to be honest, things have just been so busy. I don't even remember February, to be honest. Anyway, like I said, we've got a guest coming for 8 days next month. I knew we had my daughter-in-law coming for a little bit. My son and his wife and baby live in Dubai, which have been having missiles and suicide drones and whatever lobbed at them from Iran. Of course, it's been worrying, but the UAE Air Force or military have taken care of things quite well, apparently. My daughter-in-law came over because it started wearing on her nerves because they were getting lots of alarms at night. But in no time have they ever been in any danger. It's just been nerve-wracking to have the alarms go off and hearing the missiles getting bombed and whatever. But anyway, they're safe. Thank God they're safe. Everything's going well now. But like I said, my daughter-in-law and the baby came over. We got to see, because my daughter-in-law's parents were supposed to go and spend. We were supposed to be there. And if we'd gone like we had planned at the end of February, we would have been there when everything kicked off, and we wouldn't have been able to get back. So it's a blessing that we ended up changing our plans anyway. But my daughter-in-law's family, they were supposed to come a week or two after us, and their insurance wouldn't cover them to go, and it was supposed to be not just to see the grandbaby, the daughter and the grandbaby, the family. They were also celebrating their wedding anniversary, and the father's birthday. So it was supposed to be like a 3, and it was my daughter-in-law could fly out and come back, but the parents couldn't because the travel insurance wouldn't cover an act of war if anything happened. And also, it would have caused a lot of trouble with their work if they hadn't been able to get back in time. So my daughter-in-law decided, just first because everything was wearing on her and everything was stressful. but also to come and spend some special time with her parents and come see us as well. She came over, and that, like I said, that was trying to crawl around on the floor to make sure that you've got everything out of the baby's way. And she's a little stinker. There were a few things that she still got into, but it was fun seeing her crawl around the house. I introduced her to the bowl, the metal bowl and the wooden spoon drum that kids love. Just giving her pots and pans so she can clash them around, and she had a good time with that. And as soon as I found they were coming over, I ran up to I went to the local charity, the village charity shop, and I was able to pick up some baby toys for her, because when she was here last, she was just a baby, but now she's becoming a lot more mobile. So she has a few toys, and it was fun to go and find her bits and pieces. So once they've left, then my husband had a couple of weeks off from work, because the way that he had to take them. The way it is in the UK, or the way it is with his company and a previous company as well, is by April 1st you're supposed to take all of your holiday due from the last year. They deferred it a little bit, but they wouldn't defer it any further. So he's just had 2 weeks off. So what we've done, since we've got guests coming, and the kitchen hadn't been redecorated since 2023, and it was looking quite battered, we decided to redecorate. So we've been painting and sanding, and painting the ceiling, painting the walls, sanding bits and pieces, mending bits and pieces. We repainted the floor as well. So a lot of things had to be moved out and moved back in. And along that, since he had time off and we were waiting for paint to dry, we've been cleaning out the shed and doing all kinds of clearing out, decluttering, reorganizing. And along with that, I'm planting a garden this year. I'm planting fruits, and I've planted mostly vegetables, herbs. I've got strawberry and raspberries growing. I've got various different flowers growing. Some of them just because they're simply beautiful, and some of them because they're really good. It looks like we got a delivery coming, but some of them just because the flowers are they're pest. They deter pest. So I've got a whole selection of things coming out, and I keep looking. Yeah, he's coming. That's me. Hold on. That was the delivery man with the vinyl. What we've decided to do with our countertop is instead of repainting it where the paint kept chipping away, we're laying down adhesive paper, adhesive vinyl, and that's been a problem. First place I ordered it from, they kept saying, okay, we ordered it in March, and they kept saying it'll be there Monday, it'll be there Wednesday, it'll be there, so forth and so on. So eventually I just canceled the order, and I've just ordered this, and even though it's a couple days late, I only ordered it on Friday. So I'm thrilled that it's finally here, and we'll probably be doing that this weekend, which will be a learning process in itself. But the kitchen should look lovely, and I can start putting everything back, because basically we've been camping out in the house with just a few bits and pieces out, because everything, most other things that we normally use have been moved out of the kitchen. So because I've been scrubbing out the cupboards and reorganizing and everything like that. So anyway, I was talking about my garden. My garden is growing a few bits and pieces. I haven't harvested anything out yet. The days are getting a lot longer, so things are growing quite well. But anyway, last Thursday night, I knelt down and I pulled something in my knee, went ping. So all weekend long, I've been hobbling around. It's getting a lot better. But we used to have a cane I'm sorry, I probably just made a noise. But I used to have a cane for when when I did the allotment or vegetable garden years ago in Essex. I did it for 7 years before I broke my back in 2017. And the first year I had the allotment, I bent down. Another thing, something went in my knee, so my knee was quite stiff. I had to use a cane for a while. But now I haven't had to need, and I think we've given the canes to the thrift shop, the charity shop, so that somebody who could use them, because we had my husband's stepfather's cane as well. Anyway, you don't need to know that. Anyway, that's why my husband's had to find me a cane. It's only super stiff in the mornings and in the evenings. That right now it's doing really well. Let me get back to what I'm trying to say. There are the blue knit hat I've put away for the moment. I put it away when the baby was here, because the grandbaby was here, and I haven't got it out yet. I mean, my husband won't be using it until next autumn now, so there's no point in doing it. I've gone back to yogurt making in the slow cooker. Super easy, yummy, and it's doing really well. I've told you about the redecorating and the knee. And there are, and another thing I've been trying to do is, I do Bible writing every day. I pay a notebook page every day. And I know that when our visitors here next month, that I won't be able to do it. So I've been writing ahead so that while they're here, I won't. It's a considerable amount. Not considerable. I won't be doing it as much. I'll probably just do like one verse a day instead of a whole page a day. But anyway, I'm getting ahead so I won't fall behind. Because whenever I fall behind, I don't want to be stressed while the visitor's here any more than I already will be. But I don't want to be worried about my verses. So whenever I know I can't be writing them, I will write them ahead a few days. So that's what I've been doing. I'm now I'm 12 days ahead, I think. So, because, anyway, you don't need to know that either. And we've just been deep cleaning, organizing, and it's a time of the year when I just want to clean everything. The days are bright. The days are quite long now, and even going to get longer and longer. Yeah, it's daylight's at like 5:30. Well, it's before 5:30 in the morning. It starts at 5:30 in the morning, and then it's still late. Yeah, 8. I think it's about 8:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. I don't remember. It's quite late in the night when it's starting to get dark. So therefore my plants in the garden should start growing quite quickly. I've never grown anything up here this far north. So it's a learning curve for me, but all good. And there are some cross stitchers and some crocheters and some knitters, and all these people have various different crafts. And these are ones I wanted to tell you about. They will be linked down below. This is my book. My husband got me this when I started after my first video, and so this is all to do with the videos that I've done for y'all. All right, the Sky Blue Stitcher, she's ever so sweet. The lady named another one is Flossom. I love that name. Awesome, Flossom. But Flossom. There's an older lady called Coco's Crafting Table, and she does a whole range of crafts. Pretty super amazing. Hooks and Stitches. I don't know if I've mentioned her before. Her name's Natasha or Natasha. It depends on if you say it English or American way. Natasha. She's ever so sweet. The Alphabet Stitcher, I've watched a couple of hers. I haven't, but Shanae, the Sock Princess, I may have mentioned her before. I think she's just so cute. She's such a sweet person. Melanie Makes. She's really into her full coverage, which is really cool. And then there's Sarah Seams. Now she's mostly knitting, and she does quilting as well, and sews her own clothes. And over the weekend, with my knee being stopping me from doing what I needed to be doing, I was able to sit down and knit and crochet and do some cross stitch. So all good. I mean, I made good use of the time, which was a bonus. I had a reason to stop and do my crafts. Yay. Anyway, I've been watching her vlogmases. She did in 2023. She did one. I'm on 2024. She did them like once every few days. So the first one, I think she had 5 or 6 videos. This year, 2024, I think she's got 6 or 7. So it's nice. She does a compilation. I'm looking forward to if she does them this year. For myself, I doubt if I ever do another Vlogmas. As much as I enjoy watching other people's Vlogmas, it really can't. Maybe. We'll see. I mean, this new camera that my son and his wife got me, and my husband, they pulled together and got me this camera that I'm recording on. It's quite nifty, and it doesn't kill my phone like Vlogmas this past year almost killed my phone. My phone I've had for quite a while now, but this is what my son got me, this little camera thingy, so that I can record without having to delete practically everything off of my phone. So this is a wonderful little camera, and I appreciate it very much. So anyway, I think that's everything that I've had to say. I don't know when I know it was towards the end of March because it had been about 6 weeks when I recorded the last video that I've never published, and I don't want to publish something that's in bits and pieces. I was like recording 5 seconds here and 2 minutes there, and it was just one of those days where everything was going on. Spring has sprung here. You got little lambs floating, bouncing around the countryside. We had daffodils out. Now we got other flowers that are coming out. The daffodils and narcissus and the crocus, and we've actually had blue skies. I mean, we had 40 straight days of rain and grey skies from December onwards. So it was a blessing when we started having the sunshine. It's always, after the long winter, I'm sure anyone watching this from north or even further north than I am, when the sun comes out, it's just like, hallelujah. Anyway, I am so thankful for you all. You're such a blessing to me. I am always excited to share my crafts with you. My daughter-in-law's recently started knitting and crochet, and she wants to start crocheting, but we've got totally different tastes. She's a very, very new beginner, and she's willing to tell me about it, but she's not willing to share. I guess it is a bit intimidating sometimes or uncomfortable when you just started something new and you've got somebody you don't want to. Some people don't like sharing things that they're not really good at, I guess. But I'm sure she's very determined, and she's talking about how wonderful how much she loves, and she's very artistic, beautiful artist. So I'm sure that her her artistic talents will come out in her knitting and crochet. tongue twister. You guys have a wonderful rest of April, a wonderful May, and I will be talking to you all as soon, probably after the visitors, because I think this is the last opportunity I'll be able to come to you, and it'll probably be towards the end of May before I get a chance. Possibly, if I get things at this moment in time, because I've been out of whack and because I haven't been able to like full bore. I had plans to just do a deep clean. I like to every once in a while I like to do like a super deep clean and declutter and all this, and I haven't been able to do that between decorating and visitors and now some more visitors, and my knee messed up. So I'm hoping and praying that my knee will get better soon. And I'm hoping and praying that you all have glorious weather, a peaceful, contented life. And I hope to see y'all soon. Y'all take care.